Hello, guys. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hey, guys. Hey, hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of VCTV. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott, and today we're going to be speaking about shaping the empowered data societies that we're all looking at living in right now, and really talking about the digital economy and what's coming ahead as we live our lives more digital than ever. So we brought together two great investors from different sides of the world to share their on-the-ground perspective of just that. What's happening in this digital economy and where does it go from here, and how will things shape and play out in the near future and for the future of our lives. And a big, if this is your first time joining in, a big thank you. And also make sure you click the subscribe button and check us out on LATOKEN.com to hear more from today's speakers and the entire archive of all speakers of the VCTV family. Also, if you have any questions, comments, feel free to drop them in the comment box. We'll do our best to ask them in real time. If not, we're all available 24/7, 365 in the digital world that we now live. Always happy to continue the conversation as well. And if you'd like to be on a show like today, reach out to the team and or myself. We'll find the right spot for you. Speaking of team, a big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making VCTV possible every single day. With that, I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. Let's go ahead and get started and introduce today's guests. First and foremost, Harsh, welcome back to the show. A little intro and a little background for everybody.
Hey Kyle, glad to be back. Glad to have you and Raghu over here. Good to connect with Raghu after a long time. So a brief bio about myself. My name is Harsh Shethia. I'm a venture partner with our ventures. We basically fund in all kinds of startups. We are completely sector agnostic and we invest up to $10 million in different kinds of startups. I personally have worked with several unicorns, Fortune 50 companies, and my core sector focuses fintech, health tech, marketing tech, and SaaS. And any startups needs any help, and feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Harsh. Raghu, welcome back to the show as well. A little intro, a little background for everybody.
Thank you, Kyle, and good to see you again, Harsh. I'm a serial entrepreneur, a strategic advisor, and mentor from Princeton, New Jersey. I invest in early stage and growth equities in biotech, green tech, cybersecurity, as well as med tech. And one of the things I think this topic is of close to my heart, empowered data societies. I think that's the kind of the next. We've gone from the kind of the industrial revolution to now the data revolution, and I think we still don't have the right guardrails. And this is a very important topic. Look forward to the discussion.
Wonderful. And Raghu, this is actually something that you and I have spoken a lot about here on VCTV around this new future, data societies, but really data-driven digital economy. So kick us off. Tell us what is happening. How are we shaping our lives, our worlds, our economy into this new digital era more than we've ever thought about? Even as we come out of 2020, we look at 2021 and this decade that we're building towards here in the future.
Yeah, I think we used to call it the digital divide, having access to the digital things. It's become more than that. It's not about access anymore. Everybody is, whether you have access or not, your data is out there. So it's about, I think, a different thing. That what we used to be called digital rights management was only for data that you kind of created, right? But now all kinds of data about you is available to everybody. If you use Google, if you use any tools, right? And so there is different aspects to this. And AI, the kind of data that you load into AI is going to come up with the models in terms of how things are going to happen, right? The automation that's happening. So I think the key thing is to about three aspects of data. One is ownership, second one is privacy, and third one is security. I think all of them are related, but it's very, very important that we control the data that that is private to us, and also share it in a way that where it is needed in terms of authenticating ourselves to the right people, and be able to selectively do that. That once we give it, it shouldn't be gone. No, you should be able to pull it back. I think that those are important capabilities to have in order to be able to move forward with the way now all the transactions are going.
And with that being said, Raghu, what's being done in that space to actually push that forward? I mean, we talk about data security. We have since data has existed, and we continue to talk about it now as data is, an overabundance in our world. So what is being done around data privacy and data security here in the beginning of 2021 that will help us in that and really lay a foundation for the future?
Sure. I think, as you know, our friend Gary, who's not here, Gary Fowler, talks about infobesity. There's so much data all of us are creating, and a lot of the data never gets touched, right? So most important thing is to look at what types of data that is there, and the different types of data have to be dealt with differently. There is so-called dark data, which we create, but we never even look at it again. And then there is very rarely used data, which we create, maybe look at it once in a while. And then this is about 75% of all the data that we are involved in. And then there is very highly sensitive data, which is maybe about 5%. And the other 20% is what we kind of use on a daily basis, in our, daily interactions, maybe Excel sheets, Word documents, emails, and things like that, right? So every aspect of the data requires, first you have to classify the data, and then the data that you are, you're never going to really use it, but it's more like an insurance, right? Your tax return from 10 years ago, whatever. You may not look at it unless somebody requests an audit or something, right? Or you want to look up something. So those kind of data, we should be able to put it away securely, knowing that you can get it back, but it doesn't clutter up your day-to-day environment, and at the same time nobody else can get to it, right? And we also need to figure out a way to transition that once you let's say you pass on, you want to retire, if it's a business, you have sold it, you need to be able to transfer it to the new, assign it to the new owner or the new person who needs it, right? So there are a bunch of different things that are involved in this. I think decentralization is what is going to help here. Just like the blockchain came along and helped with decentralizing, decentralizing it provides a transparency. Now in this, privacy and security, we need a decentralized, data protection and privacy platform that will allow us to not be, the traditional kinds of hacks and things that are happening right now, like ransomware, all kinds of system hacks. So we need like a vaccine approach where even if the system is breached, it doesn't translate into a data breach. I'm working with a company called Splitbyte, which is really transforming this, creating that kind of platform, which provides what we call safe harbor data protection. That is, even if your system is breached, it does not mean that the data can be touched, because they're actually burying the data into multiple locations. So one location getting breached, you can still continue to operate using the other available locations.
This is interesting, and Harsh, I want to come to you around this as well. And anything to add to Raghu's point? Thank you, Raghu. But also your thoughts on what is being done in this transition towards a digital economy and just digital lives in general from data.
So currently, as Raghu used the very right word, right? Data obesity. So it is infobesity, my bad. So it is a very apt word as of right now. There is so much data being collected and so much information out there. It is sometimes a little scary as well, because quite honestly, we are still not capable of handling that volume of data as well, right? So that is why, in terms of security, if you look at it, there's extremely vulnerable. I think the closest that we've come to being able to handle such kind of data, such volume of data in a secure fashion, is blockchain, because of its decentralized nature, right? Because having access to such a huge volume of data with a single central authority, it's far too powerful and far too dangerous, right? So that's why blockchain kind of makes it, slightly better, slightly more secure, considering, compared to the current situations. You look at in a country like India, we have our mobile number, and the government followed a UID system called the Aadhaar number, right? The entire things, everything that you transact in India is linked with your mobile number and the Aadhaar number. So your bank, you name it, your bank account, your telephone numbers, your government rations, each and everything is kind of connected with that. So the kind of centralized data which is there is all stored in a single repository and is easily vulnerable to hacking as well. So I would definitely say that in terms of security wise, we are still a long way away, and we need to be, kind of a lot more proactive in terms of ensuring that the security is being maintained, which presently we are scaringly behind.
there, Harsh. What do you think is going to be done to push us ahead of that? I mean, whether that's in India or globally, what is necessary to be implemented to push us ahead and get us from behind to at least up to date where we should be?
Got it. I think at least the first move towards, using something, a system like a blockchain is going to be very critical because of its decentralized nature, right? That is
Mhm.
going to be very critical. Additionally, we need to also look at more data security systems in terms of even a basic system like firewalls, right? Even they are kind of missing basic firewall systems, basic CDN systems, etc., ensuring that. But it has to be, the focus has to be from the governments, right? The problem with most of our governments right now is most of them, they kind of still not that tech savvy as is required currently right now. So that is why it then comes on to businessmen, startup founders and investors like us to kind of educate the politicians about the same, including about the risk that we have, kind of train better models as well. So if you look at even the current AI systems, even they are not the best right now to make the best optimal use of the data right now. So that's why we need to come up with better algorithms, better models, etc., so that we can make sense of the data that we have right now, so that we can use it in a better way than the way that we're using it currently. Because right now, if you look at it, the use is pretty limited, and it's just simply being used to sell people more product and buy more stuff, right? We can definitely do a lot more than simply just selling more products into the market. So we need to understand the efficient utilization of data and building better models as well to use the data in a better fashion.
So let's talk about that for a minute. What does that mean in terms of using data for better? I mean, how do we use data to improve efficiencies in our life, right? Today's topic is focused on, shaping data societies and really empowering us as a society to move forward. So Raghu, I mean, how are we gonna use data in a more efficient way, and what are maybe some examples of that will help our lives for the better versus maybe a detriment as well?
Sure. I think actually we have all the tools. It's not that we don't have the tools. Just like blockchain was around for a very long time. Similarly, many of these technologies, something called secret sharing that Shamir from the RSA, the S in RSA, Shamir propagated something called secret sharing in 1979. But we did not have the cloud infrastructure, the public cloud infrastructure and the big data and all that, which we can use now. Sitting in my laptop, I can write to Japan or to any remote corner of the world, to Australia, to South America. So we have all the tools. The connectivity is there. What we need is I think it's called the new term for this is segmentation. See, in the olden days for cybersecurity, if you look at a nuclear plant or something, they actually have something called air gap. So they don't connect anything. You have to physically cross the gap and then to prevent any intrusion happening, right? We cannot do that anymore, or especially in most of the systems are now linked together. But this pandemic has kind of heightened the awareness that what they call zero trust systems, because everybody is working from home and at different locations, and they're coming in through it's not anymore like a secure environment that you can fence, like kind of like a house where you do perimeter security, lock the doors kind of thing, which is what firewalls and things were doing. Now we want to be able to use the public infrastructure, still be able to authenticate the person, and then let them do their job without being compromised, right? So that zero trust environment, again, we have all the tools, right? So an example of one thing would be what we call behavioral biometrics. So instead of just using a password, which is also hard to remember, we can use biometrics, right? Like iris scans or facial recognition. That's one way. Other supplemental things can be how exactly your behavior is. Like if it is a mobile device, how you hold it, what kind of pressure you use when you type the keys, what angle you hold it, and whether what GPS, obviously the location, things like that. There's a bunch of 100 parameters. In fact, I've seen in some biometric models, which you can use to really authenticate in addition to any other type of biometric you use, right? This is just the behavioral aspect, right? So that is another really good one. But see, these are for legitimate purposes, for authentifying who you are, right? Authenticating. But the other side of it is identity theft. People like what Harsh was talking about. So much depends on your mobile phone now. So if somebody gets your mobile phone and gets hold of it with your whatever lockout password, and then you're done. You can, before you know it, they can drain everything out of your accounts. The amount of damage they can do is just basically they can clean you out. I mean, your life is done, right? So with the right kind of people, so it's extremely important that we don't make such kind of single point of failure, right? Mm-hmm. So they do things like two-factor authentication, but again, it comes back to the same device, right? So we really need something better, right? Biometrics is one, behavioral biometrics another one, and then the decentralization. See, blockchain is a very slow technology because you have to go back all the way to the source every time. It is good for verification and transparency to make sure nothing is changed, but it is not a technology for quick transactions because it's just too slow by its nature. You use that to verify things, but you use something like distributed, this secret sharing that I was talking about, where you literally do a shredding of the data and then like bury it into the cloud, right, in different locations. So, and you can do it right from the edge device, your mobile phone or your laptop. It will get, it's essentially scrambled. It's kind of like taking a treasure hunt map, right? Tearing it up and giving the pieces to multiple people. And then if you want to get it back, you need to know who has it and then, put it back together, right? It is even better than that because in this case, we can actually have redundancy. We can put it away so that, let's say you put it in 5 locations, but you only need 3 to restore it, right? So if one of the 2 locations, you can still have it fail. Like if ransomware attacks one location, you don't need it because you can still use the other 3 out of 4 that are left. Because if out of the 5, one location, so even 2 locations, for instance, could be compromised, you can still operate. And part of that could be in your, your local drive, and part of it could be on the cloud. So you're leveraging, local as well as, public infrastructure. So things like that, all these flexibility is available now. But one of the key things in cybersecurity is there's a lot of education to be done because the outlook, the way that people look at things is either preventive or reactive. Preventive means like firewalls and how do you prevent system breaches from occurring. So they're only looking at, things to block people out, right? People who are not supposed to come in. Then the other side is that if somebody comes in and who is unauthorized, how do we prevent them from doing damage? So you have all this reactive stuff, right? You look at the logs, what they're doing. Can you block them out and then limit files, move them out, all those kind of things. But what we need is more like a proactive approach, which is like the vaccine is the best analogy for that. You can do preventive stuff to prevent you getting infected from a virus by wearing a mask, by taking vitamins, by isolating yourself. All those are kind of preventive. And once if you do all that and you still get infected somehow, then you start taking medication, therapeutics to treat the infection before it gets worse. And it may require you to go to the hospital if it gets bad. Otherwise, you treat it at home and try to get the infection, down, right? Mm-hmm. But the holy grail is the vaccine, where even if you're exposed, you don't get infected because you're immunized with antibodies or whatever it is, right? Same concept if you take to cybersecurity, we can actually do this, right? Put it away so that if a system is breached, they can still get to the data. See, encryption was the best in class we had until now. But encryption is, for instance, ransomware. Encryption doesn't prevent because what they do is they come and encrypt on top of your encryption. So it's like putting a second lock, right, on your house door. So you can get in, they can get in. Nobody. So it's so encryption doesn't do it, right? That's why you need this decentralized aspect where just one system does not do it, right? I mean, the Harry Potter's, the Voldemort's, the Horcrux, right? You can't kill Voldemort just from one location. So it's the same concept. You have to be able to figure out where all it is and then do it. And the nice thing about this technology is that you can have so-called custodians, right? Mm-hmm. Just like when you have your like IRA, for instance, your pension plan, you give a custodian, and you can always get things done through them. Same way, you can give pieces to people that you trust, but then they.
Raghu, I'm sorry, I want to pause you. I want to pause you real quick. No, I'm with you. I just want to pause you real quick. That was a great answer. I want to make sure Harsh has a moment to get in as well.
Sure.
So let me pause you real quick. Harsh, anything to add on to that? I mean, Raghu's got a great point. Decentralization is one of the big solutions as he painted that picture. Anything else to add in terms of what we can do?
Yeah, so as far as cybersecurity is concerned, Raghu kind of hit the nail on the head, right? So the kind of detail that is gone. I would kind of try to take it on a different route. I would try to take it how, instead of obviously protecting the data and cybersecurity is very crucial. At the same time, how we can use it for better optimization, right? Right now, even if you look at it, the kind of way that the data is being handled is still highly being inefficient. We have all the tools, but unfortunately, it is the strength is not in the tools, but in the one who's handling the tools, right? And right now, with the kind of volume of data that we have, and despite having incredibly brilliant people, we are still not kind of equipped to handle that the best way. So, for example, if you look at into the healthcare space, we have enough number of data to predict, what kind of illness a person might have, what he's having currently, what the future will be like. They've already done genome sequencing and a lot of other things like that, right? So, but we have still not find a good formula to be able to predict that. So that is somewhere I can see we can use that in terms of drug delivery, drug discoveries, vaccine research. We can do that to ensure that the volume of data that we have, we structure it with the help of better models so that the time that is taken to do this research can be minimized, right? That is some other elements of it. You combine that with the military aspect, which Raghu was pointing out, right? Right now, the fact is everything is being handled remotely. Imagine the huge security threat that is there. If we kind of take it to the next level in terms of better security and encrypt and protect that in a better way, that will also go in a long way further. You take that one step further. Not only is the healthcare being, you're tracking each and everyone's healthcare, and the GPs, the doctors are recording all of that. You can now future anticipate 30 years, 40 years down the line that what a person is, has a tendency of having an illness down the line. That could be one step further. You look at it. So this was in the health tech space. Even in the fintech space, if you look at it, right now most of the fintech space is focused on what's happening. Unfortunately, what's happening is the money is being concentrated in a few pockets and not being distributed evenly, right? If we can kind of understand how the money distribution is operating, we can have the right diffusion of capital at the right source at the right time, and rather would make the capital flow far more efficient instead of the current inefficient flow that we have right now. Same is applying in the logistics space. During the COVID times, we were hilariously outsourced and out supplied in terms of having the right equipments and right tools at the right time. So if we use AI and do proper data structure models over there to ensure that we can predict these kind of growth in demand, the spurt in demand that is have, and we can anticipate that 3 months, 6 months in advance, we can plan that in a better way. So if you look at it, it has a far better applications across wide various domains, across several areas of expertise, and you can divide them across all of them. But we are still kind of struggling and to kind of get into making it far more efficient. Right now, the focus is just on selling more product, but I believe it has far better uses than what we are doing with it currently as of right now.
So, Harsh, with that being said, where are you placing your bets? If you're looking at the year ahead, where do you place your bets as an investor around this digital economy and really data-driven society we're moving into? Maybe one or two examples, any closing thoughts that you have for the audience, and then where everyone can find you online as well. But where are you placing your bets, and closing thoughts for those building, and then where can everyone find you?
Absolutely. So my biggest bet is obviously in the healthcare space right now, right? The COVID has kind of already exposed the weakness in our current healthcare systems, and how millions of lives which have been lost, which we could have taken care of. So three main aspects in the healthcare space specifically where I see a lot of growth happening is better data management and data control of patients and even regular public. That is going to be one major avenue. Uh, Using it in clinical researches to ensure faster drug discovery and faster vaccine discovery. Number two. And number three, if you look at it, overall healthcare as a whole, diagnostics is still the backbone of the entire healthcare industry, and still it hasn't kind of received the true data. The data focus is still very limited in terms of diagnostic space. So if you can use the right amount of data with the right models in the diagnostic space, we could be far more ahead in terms of healthcare, because without having proper diagnostics, the entire healthcare system collapses, right? So you cannot have advancements in other sectors without having that in diagnostics. So that is why I see diagnostics to be the core backbone of the entire thing. So this is the main area where I see a lot of focus going on. And if anyone wants to reach me, you can reach me on LinkedIn at Harsh Shethia. And I'm glad to have this discussion with everyone, with Raghu and with you, Kyle, as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Harsh. Raghu, same question to you. Where are you placing your bets as an investor here in the coming year? Closing thoughts for those building, and where can everyone find you online as well?
Sure. I'm available on LinkedIn at Raghu S. Rao. And this is, this is a very important topic, as data is kind of the basis of everything. As they say, it's new oil. And data, all aspects of data, right? The good things like with wellness and that area, I think there's a lot of health and wellness, preventive stuff, right? More than the reactive stuff again. So the health and wellness area, I think there's a lot of opportunity. There is, of course, data protection, which is a baseline technology, and AI. I think there is a big opportunity in social media kind of verification, like things like fake news. We really need help with that, because that's kind of, as you know, divided our society. Everybody is putting out their own things and spreading stuff without really knowing whether it is real or not. So we need a way to quickly verify, just like on some of these things. You want to be able to say, let me know if this is true, and you need some very clear sources where they can verify and give you some sense of whether it is like completely made up, or there is some truth to it, how much of it is true, that kind of thing. That's, I think, actually a very important area, given how much it is affecting everything now. The social media, all aspects of our life are now coming down to social media. So I really think that that data verification there, be able to do fact checking, is very, very important area.
Wonderful. And gentlemen, thank you both very much for those thoughts and insights around today's topic as well. There's a lot more to be discussed, and we're going to be covering it all week here on VCTV, as different technologies and industries play an impactful role in our future data and digital society that we're moving into as well. And to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, make sure you click subscribe, share the episode, and check out the archive on LATOKEN.com to hear from all of the VCTV family of speakers, including Raghu and Harsh on today's subject and a number of other subjects as well. And if you'd like to be on a show like today to provide your thoughts and insights, either as an investor or as an entrepreneur, reach out to the team and or myself. We'll find that right spot for you. And also, as well, a big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making VCTV possible every single day. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott, and you can find me along with Harsh and Raghu on all social media platforms as well to continue the conversation. When you do reach out, please add context where you heard us and what you would also like to continue the conversation about, whether it's in regards to today's topic or other topics, again, that we host here on VCTV. I'm your host, and we'll be taking a short little break, and we'll be back here tomorrow with more VCTV, starting bright and early in the morning, covering all of the news and all of the industry insights happening in the world of blockchain and crypto. Everyone have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Harsh.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Kyle. Bye, Raghu.
Bye.